Do you get freaked out whenever you see a reading question that looks like this? So if you're running into some really hard reading passages, those are the ones that look like giant blocks. Here are some strategies that you can try. The first is to just make a simple summary. So as you read, start summarizing. The other part is to ignore super long names. Just call them scientists or archaeologists in your head and just go over that. They will put lots of big, long names in order to kind of distract you. If the passage is an old passage, oftentimes they're going to have a lot of like parenthetical or non-essential clauses. So that's like when they add extra information using 2 commas. I want you to read past those just for a moment so you can get the main idea, because it interrupts the flow of your reading. So just to rephrase, I'm going to ignore this part while I'm reading just for a moment to make sure I understand the sentence, and then I can add the extra details back in. Before you look at the answer choices, think of what the answer might be, so that way the answer choices don't confuse you. Now, let's look at the answer choices that you might run into. This is the most common type. The whole answer sounds right up until the end. They say something that is not true, but a lot of students will go, oh, but the rest of it sounds good. That's not how we want our answer. The other kind is true, but does not support a claim. So if you have a big claim, you need to make sure that not only is the answer choice true, but that it's also referencing the claim and why it supports the claim. Another kind of wrong answer is when they don't mention a control that was mentioned in the text. If you're reading a science passage and there's data and I'm comparing to a control, I need to include that in my answer choice. One thing that the hard questions will do is they'll mention a word or something very specific that's from the text. They're getting skimmers out of the way right now because they know that someone's going to go, oh, I see that in the text. That's the right answer. I saw it in the text. They actually like to paraphrase in the right answer choices for the hardest kinds of questions. The other kind of wrong answer choice is that's too narrow. It should compare things, but doesn't compare things, or it compares the wrong things. And one more kind of question that you might see is that they might just have incorrect information. So if it's a passage that has a lot of data, they might say something is 10 when it's actually 5, and that's just incorrect. And here's a bonus one. This one's specifically for like poem questions or literary fiction. They'll have answer choices that read too much into it. The SAT does not want you to overthink a poem. They just want an answer that is the most straightforward as possible, not something I have to read into. All right, hope this helps. Take care.